Hello lovelies, welcome to Narc Free Formula. My name's Freedom, thank you for joining me. Today's episode is about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Now, the reason that I'm doing an episode on this pair, or ex-pair, is that there's been a few memes getting around lately, you know, with kind of Amber Heard being promoted as the face of domestic abuse is actually one of the memes. Now, statistically, the face of domestic abuse is not actually a woman. Now, this is not to say that women don't abuse men. That is not what I'm saying. There are some women that do abuse men. However, statistically, the vast majority of domestic abuse occurs with men as perpetrators. It may include men as the victims, but what you have to understand is domestic abuse covers all things, all domestic relationships. So, father and son, that's domestic abuse. Father and grandfather, domestic abuse. Cousins, domestic abuse. You know, any relationship in a family unit is domestic abuse. Women are not, like I said, statistically, women are not typically the perpetrators of domestic abuse. All right, so getting back to it. So with this situation between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, so I listened to the recordings that Amber took. Now, she took the recordings because she wanted Johnny to listen to them, how they communicated. She wanted him to get an understanding of, because she couldn't get through to him, so she wanted him to listen. Now, obviously, since they've separated, these recordings have been shared with the public. When I listened to the recordings, what really springs to mind is how Johnny Depp's, his tone of voice, the way he's speaking, is so calm, cool, and calculated. Now I say this because it's been said that, you know, that Johnny Depp was the voice of reason. But knowing what I know about narcissists, I don't actually see that as being the voice of reason. I see that as being someone who is very well aware that they are being recorded, who is playing the end game. So while his poor wife is thinking that she's just recording them so that they can listen to it and understand each other better, he's already in his mind gone to the place where these recordings are going to be shared with the public. So he is very cool, calm, and collected. He's saying all the right things. He's letting her tie herself up and say, you know, he's letting her put her foot in it, basically. But because she trusts him, because she thinks that they are just communicating about the problems in their relationship, she's being honest. So she's talking about her own bad behavior. But what I noticed is not only is he not talking about his bad behavior, he is trying to downplay it. So at one point she references him being violent towards her and him saying, "I only pushed you." Right? Now, we all know that pushing is, if you went and pushed the Queen of England, you would be done for assault. You would be charged with assault. So undermining it, you know, because it's his partner, is interesting. So for those of you who don't know, just quickly, sorry, I was just interrupted then, and I've lost my train of thought. Anyhow, I'm just going to continue. Look, so like I said, listening to this recording has actually made me feel as though Johnny Depp may not actually be the victim that he's making out. Because essentially, since their divorce, Amber came forward and said that Johnny had been abusive to her, and then Johnny came out with some recordings and to prove that Amber was actually the abusive one. And like I said, when you listen to the recordings, most definitely Amber is the one who's agitated. She's crying at times. She's frustrated. She swears a little bit too much. Like I said, she sounds like someone who's communicating honestly, genuinely, and openly, whereas Johnny Depp sounds like he's doing like a press release. Like I said, cool, calm, collected. Right? Because in his mind, he already knows they're going to end up in divorce and that these tapes are coming forward. Because narcissists know when you go into relationships that the end is coming. It's just a matter of when. Anyhow, one of the things that came out is one of his ex-wives, I think he's got a couple of ex-wives, ex-fiancés, ex-girlfriends. He's been publicly linked with a lot of women. But Vanessa Paradis, who he was married to for 14 years, came out and said that he was not physically violent. And that's great. And congratulations, and that's fantastic, and I'm glad. But obviously, she also divorced him, so I don't know what's going on there. But Kate Moss, on the other hand, their relationship was known for being volatile. And Johnny Depp was known for having a temper and was charged, I can't remember what year it was, but he was charged with, destroying a hotel room and being abusive towards Kate Moss. So, as I said, I'm kind of just deeply disturbed how everyone's just jumped on this kind of bandwagon, I suppose, because we know about reactive abuse. We know that narcissists like to play games. They like to gaslight, confuse, frustrate their victims to the point where we lose our cool and we look crazy because they've got us walking on eggshells so much, because they've got us tied up in knots, because quite literally they are making us go crazy, and we are fighting to save our relationships, and we think that they care too. So we don't realize that they're one step ahead of us. Like I said, Johnny Depp's, there is no doubt in my mind that Johnny Depp knew damn well where those tapes were going to end up. Amber's 20 years his junior. He's been there and done this before. He knows all too well how it's going to end up. So he says all the right things, and then that is used as evidence against her. And like I said, and now she's being touted as the face of domestic abuse. Which is, inherently unfair. To be honest, it is unfair. And statistically incorrect, as I already stated. So I'm going to do some more research on this, because to be honest, I've only just started my research, but I've spent enough time talking with people, working with victims of narcissistic abuse to kind of know what I need to look for. And what I'm hearing, as I said in this recording, is not, it's not genuine. He's not being genuine at all. He's saying all the right things, and essentially it sounds to me like what was going on in that particular time period was every time they had a fight, Johnny Depp would threaten to leave her or would physically actually leave her, and Amber would feel vulnerable in their relationship, feel like Johnny Depp didn't care about their marriage, that he wasn't committed to it, and it was really messing with her, and that's quite apparent from that recording. And anyone who's been married to a narcissist knows that narcissists have one foot out the back door the entire relationship. They triangulate you with other women or other men. They're not committed. That's a fact. They're not committed because they know it's going to end, when they're going into the relationship, because they know they're being fraudulent in the relationship. So it will be interesting as I proceed with this research. I'm sure I'm going to cop a lot of flack from a lot of people there'll be two camps. There'll be the people that love Johnny Depp, and I just got to say, for those people, just stop now, because I actually loved Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was one of my first kind of crushes. Okay, but I don't, we can't turn a blind eye to things just because we had a crush on someone when we were in high school. And the other group will be people who are saying that that my response is being sexist because Johnny is a man, so therefore I think he must be the perpetrator. And once again, not the case either. I actually went into this. I did not even know who Amber Heard was. Not a clue. Not a freaking clue. I knew who Johnny Depp was, though. Like I said, childhood crush. And so going into this, I was thinking that I was going to get to, hear the inside scoop on poor old Johnny and how he was abused by Amber. Yes, that's what I was expecting to hear, but that wasn't what I heard, which has prompted me to do more research on it and to do this video. Because, as I said, I feel like my intuition is telling me, just on the information that I've gained in reading a few articles, listening to a few recordings, my intuition is telling me that the way this is played out is not correct. I mean, like I said, this is what narcissists do. They love playing the victim in the public's eye. They love telling people, how it wasn't them, that they did nothing wrong, and that they were the ones that were being victimized. They love the fuel that gives them, because who's going to question them? Who is actually going to say to someone, I don't think you're being abused at all? No one's going to, because that's a mean bitch thing to do, which is why it's hard for me to do this. But I am going to do it because there are so many women who are accused of being abusers when they are not the abuser, when they are just reacting out of complete and utter frustration, when they've been pushed and pushed and pushed to breaking point. I mean, these women literally kind of go crazy in these relationships when they're being gaslit, lied to, manipulated, controlled. I mean, when one person is engaged in the relationship and the other person is just manipulating and controlling the relationship, that is not an equal kind of power, I've lost the word, but power dynamic is what I'm trying to say. That's just not. And in this particular instance, as I said, Johnny Depp knew damn well where these tapes were going to end up, whereas poor little Amber naively was thinking that she was going to get, she was going to show Johnny how he was communicating, right? If Johnny's a narcissist, he knows how he's communicating. He certainly doesn't need little Miss Amber to show him, right? So he would have gone straight to the end game, which is get these tapes, get her admitting to being abusive, deny anything, stay calm no matter what she says and does, look like the good guy no matter what. I mean, this is the other thing, he kept saying really confusing things, asking things, like he kept kind of asking her to repeat things that she had literally just said. And then when she would get frustrated, he would then act as though she was getting angry at him, for no good reason. But it is for good reason, because he's playing games. He's deliberately confusing the topic. He's deliberately choosing to listen to bits that he wants to and, not other bits. I mean, we all know what narcissists are like. They're just complete and utter crazy makers. And they do it on purpose. So, I'd be really interested to know what you all think. Have any of you experienced reactive abuse? And reactive abuse is where you end up doing something stupid and out of context or out of against your normal personality. So for example, if someone, I don't know, made you literally lose your mind, did you ever do anything really crazy that you just would never do? Put that in the comments. If anyone's got any links to any video footage, articles, any resources that would be helpful for me to do my research, please link them into the comments. I'd be really interested. And as I said, I'm going to do some more research and see if I can get a little bit more, bring to light some of this stuff, because it's not sitting well with me. I just got to tell you, it's not sitting well with me. All right, lovelies, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.